BYDFi is a crypto exchange on desktop and mobile where you can spot trade, futures trade, use leverage tokens, and copy the trades of top trade. There's hundreds of crypto available on their spot exchange, as well as a free test account so you can practice futures trading without getting wrecked. BYDFi. Hello everybody, welcome back. Let's get stuck in, shall we, as everything's pushed the resistance, and we might see the pullback today. We might do. Okay, so I've already seen a few messages this morning on Telegram and direct messages and stuff saying I want to buy more, or the thing is, you've got to buy before the pump, and then when the pump happens, you can't really expect it to keep pumping if it's at a resistance. So something like Ethereum, for instance, hit this wick low and it's managed to move up 24%, but the main resistance is this 20 weekly moving average. And obviously if we can close above there, that would be a closure that we'll have to wait until Sunday night to see. We don't know if we're going to get continuation. We can assume we are. This is a good looking chart. Obviously we had this nice big retest of the 200 exponential all the way back down in October where we bought the altcoins and saw the nice big rally up. Now this is another portion of a golden cross, similar to that. This is relatively bullish. It front run it, and I would imagine it would continue on a weekly basis. On a weekly, that means that we could even consolidate for a couple of weeks, maybe even a month, before we get another opportunity to buy back. Look, all I'm saying is that this, as well as all these other charts that I'm interested in, that I'll show you now, and we'll probably look at tonight on the Patreon, because we're going to do a Patreon live stream if you want to join that. There's links in the description below for that, but we're all at resistance right now. So buying now would be effectively, potentially buying a top, right? Not the top, but a top. Just think about that. So I know green is exciting, but this is what I keep trying to put across to everybody. You have to buy red in order to sell green, all right? You don't buy green unless there's evidence that we're in a trend, for instance, and we're above resistances. Right now, we're pushing resistance. Major resistance on Ethereum on the 20 weekly here. So let's have a look at some of these other big bad boys. So we've got XRP on the daily here, 200 simple moving average. Yeah, we've had a wick above it. This is XRP all over the place. XRP loves wicks. Massive wicks. Wicks are for liquidating. Wicks will destroy you. But recognize where we are. Support, resistance. At resistance. We are at resistance. V-Chain, another one that I love. I do love it. Resistance. That's a death cross retest on a daily. At resistance. At resistance. Nice big pump. At resistance. Recognize what it is that I'm saying here. From the wick to the wick, it's roughly, well, it's not actually 70%, but it's close to it. That's been a very big move, I mean, it's closer to 70% than anything else. At resistance. Something we're looking at here is the alt rallies that I've said are very likely to happen, and they will rally into death crosses. And at that death cross, recognize what I did yesterday? Invert the scale. This is a bullish chart, baby. Golden cross, buy the dip, V-shaped recovery, and then some. We have to expect that. It doesn't mean that it's going to happen, but it's more likely to happen than anything else. Why did I turn it to log scale? So you try to understand what I'm saying here. I am bullish on this market long term, which is why I keep talking about and have been talking about dollar cost averaging to build up a portfolio as we go down lower and lower and lower. And the main thing would be the total two. The lower we go into this, what I consider to be the accumulation zone, was this has been the place to accumulate. So we've managed to bounce from the bottom and we're moving our way towards the center. Still not bullish until you've broken out of it. We're not even above the 20 weekly on the weekly here. So remember what I'm saying here. I said alt rallies, not alt season. I said build up a portfolio on the way down, and now we're pushing resistance. So let's have a look at the big bad boy now. See how he's doing. So it's managed to push up very close to this 65,300 zone. It actually touched basically 65,000. So Noob Master loves his round numbers. This is a zone. It's not perfect. It's a guide. All moving averages, all horizontals. They're all guides, especially when you're dealing with such large numbers. You're never going to get it to a T. A fraction of a percent off the top of this area where I said we're likely to see the pullback come from. Now, on a daily, this is still bullish. There was no death cross. We're above all moving averages at this point, outside of this 50 simple. But we've just touched the major resistance. And look, I know that Bitcoin is slow and sluggish, but it's still awesome. It's done a 21% move from the wick low to the projected high here. And that's where we're pulling back from now. So if Bitcoin wants to pull back, you've got to think about where's it going to pull back to. Based on the daily, we'll still be massively bullish if we can pull all the way back and dip down below 60,000. This 20 daily moving average, the 20 simple, the 21 exponential is at 60,600. All these areas down here are the big areas for support. It doesn't have to come down here today, by the way. In fact, that would be pretty awful if we did see that happen today. That would be close to, if not a confirmed bearish engulfing candle, to see that just wick all the way down 7.5%. That would be pretty devastating, to be honest. And at that point, I'd probably imagine a small lower high and probably break down from there. It'd just be the nature of a candle closure of that sort of size. We can come down and wick from there and maybe see a lot of liquidity grabs from both ends as the volatility continues to increase over here. But recognize what I'm saying here. Yeah, we've pushed the resistance. We've not broken out properly. This is not gone crazy. This has just done pretty much exactly what we expected, really. It's managed to do a decent move. I'm not going to call it a dead cat bounce on Bitcoin because it's still a bullish chart on daily and weekly. But if we look at the 4-hourly, for instance, this has the potential to confirm an uptrend at some point over this week if we can maintain price action above 61,300. Now that 61,000 area is also this 21 exponential moving average, 61,002, 61,300. So we want to see Bitcoin stay above 61,300. We'll call it that, just number. Maybe we can even say a little bit higher just for safety purposes. We want Bitcoin to continue to close from now on above 61,500. If it can continue to do that, then I would say it's immediately bullish, and we're looking for this to continue rather than break down. But right now, 20 weekly, zone of significance, we've moved into it as expected, and we're pulling back from it as expected, and now what we're looking for is confirmation that we can continue moving up. If we can continue to move up, we have to be closing. Well, it is 61,300. We'll call it a little higher just for safety. But you know what I'm saying? It's not looking for immediate continuation. If it does, I'd be amazed. I'd be amazed. This has been a nice run on all the alts, as expected, and Bitcoin as well. Pretty good stuff. And now we're at the resistance. And actually, obviously looking at it now, it's still early. It's like 20 past 8 in the morning. This 4-hourly candle in 4 hours has moved down 3.5%. So most altcoins are going to be feeling that. And if we do continue down, most altcoins will feel that too. So let's have a look at something else. Here's our Bitcoin dominance chart, still hanging around this area on the weekly. If you're going to get what I would call a very small alt season, it'll be when we see closures below 54.5%. And then the best move we'll get will be down to 52. And that'll be good for extensions on these rallies on altcoins, immediate gratification, so continuation from here, basically into the next week or two. That would be good. But until we see that, let's just expect it to continue to keep pushing up. This does look a little rounded, I have to say, and maybe the 4-hourly will give us some more clues as to which way it wants to go. So we had a nice big burst up, but just like Bitcoin, not confirmed an uptrend, not quite yet. And we could easily sail back down again. So the dominance chart is neither here nor there, and the total 2 down 2% already today. Looking at this on the 4-hour, just like Bitcoin, over the last 4 hours, we've come down 3.2%. So look, remember what I've said. We're likely to see an alt rally, and we have seen that. We've seen that. I can't tell you right now if it's going to confirm and keep going up. It might do. Well, I don't think we should expect that. The goal was alts to rally 20, 30, 40, 50%. Now we've seen that, and actually in some cases we have surpassed that. So we should be grateful for that. But right now the pullback has begun almost exactly where we thought it would. The top target would have been this area. We front run it. We hit the round number 65,000. And so look, let's stick to what we said. This is something I keep trying to put across, right? When you're making trades, you make them in a sober state of mind, right? And I don't mean free from intoxication. I just mean void of emotion. Before any move has happened, right? I think it's going to go down. I will buy at this level, and this level. And if it moves back up, which I think it's going to do, I will sell at this level, and this level. Equals profit. Right, that's what trading is. So when the move happens, oh my god, you're not flapping around like a headless chicken. Oh my god, I'm so scared. No, hang on a minute. We thought it was going to come down, so we thought we were buying, and now we are buying. Remember to refer back to your sober, rational self. Okay, it's moving up. That's what we thought we were going to do. Okay, I think it's going to break out. Why do you think it's going to break out? I want it to. Remember what you said when you were sober and rational. Buy, sell. Remember that's what you said? Oh, yes. Wind your neck back in. Forget how you feel. Remember what you said. Don't change the goalpost. Don't buy high. Don't sell low. Just do what you said you were going to do. That's all you need to do. Anyway, far from me to tell you exactly where it's going to go. Nobody's perfect. Nobody knows. But it is doing what I projected it to do. And so I am just saying, just be careful here. Just be careful. Because looking at Bitcoin on a weekly, that is a 20 weekly. The Bollinger Band strategy, it's a very simple one, would say, when below it, more likely to test this as resistance and then come back down. So there's a very good chance that we do come back down, maybe even lower, down to 52,000. There is a very good chance of that. 65% actually. So the odds are in favour of that happening on this weekly right now. That is the truth. That is the absolute truth of the matter. It can come back down to where it came from and lower based on a simple Bollinger Band strategy. If it breaks out of here, then the odds flip the opposite end. You're more likely to remain above the Bollinger Band at that stage and use it as support and move up to a new all-time high. That's what that's it. It's the statistics. It's not great, but 65% is better than the 35% which is on the other end. So you go with the greater odds, and the greater odds are saying rejection here. See how we can hold. Now we can be relatively bullish still well above this 61,300 because the 21 exponential is almost, well, it's basically the same thing. For a more volatile asset class like crypto, exponential moving averages are very useful because they move and they follow price action at a greater speed. So you could think of the 21 as a 20, but look, they're both as relevant as each other in my opinion. And if you want greater odds, you want to be above both of them. At the moment, we're above the 21, but below the 20. So for that reason alone, as well as this being a horizontal significance, I'd say just be careful here. Don't just go buying blindly into stuff because you want more stuff. You should have been buying lower. And if anything, just like I said in those videos yesterday, we are at resistance. We were at resistance yesterday. We're pulling back from resistance now. You know, those are the areas that if you were trading, those are the areas that you would sell. If you're hodling, completely different strategy. You don't care about that because a hodl is more about time in the market rather than timing the market. So there's two different strategies at play here, and I take part in both of those strategies. So don't mix them up. That happens all the time. I hear that all the time. If you're in it for the long haul, a hodl, then it's about time in the market, not timing it. If you're trading it, timing the market is key. And yesterday we were at resistance, and today we're pulling back. Now that isn't to say that we can't break it, but we shouldn't expect resistances to break just as you shouldn't expect supports to break. You try to trade the charts that you're given. The odds are what they are, you know, and at the moment this is it. So the weekly, again, looking for that resistance and a pullback. The daily offering support anywhere between 60,000 and 61,300. So recognize that for what it is. Altcoins will follow Bitcoin. Altcoins are not the powerhouse that they have led you to believe over these last few days, because that's why I've avoided the term alt season and called it alt rally, because that's exactly what we've got. That's exactly what we've seen, and we've seen the alt rallies into their resistances. Now, VeChain is a good example of this. VeChain has done a really significant rally into a death cross where you would expect the rejection from. And to be honest with you, if we are bearish across the market, you would expect this to pull back from here and actually break down to a new low. But it is what it is. I don't, I'm not, it's just, that's the way it is, all right? There's nothing I can do to change that. This is what we're looking at. This is what it is. This is what we said was going to happen. This is what we're seeing right now. So just because it's gone green, and it's been green for several days now, doesn't mean that it's going to be green forever. If anything, you should expect red today. Right, I'll leave it with you there, but thank you for watching. If you have any further questions, let me know in the comments below. I'm getting loads of bot spam at the moment. Some of it's not even in English. I don't know what all that's about. But we've got some real questions about charts you want me to look at. If they're worth looking at, I will make a video on them. Otherwise, join the Patreon, because that's what that's all about. We look at charts twice a week, Tuesdays and Fridays, and so maybe I'll see you there tonight. Other than that, though, I hope you have a nice day. Take it easy.